What up? It's Joe Cardosi back at you with another video. On this one, this video is gonna start my sports scandal series. This is gonna be the first episode, and this one's gonna be about, as you can tell from the title, the Minnesota Vikings love boat scandal they had going on in the 2005 season. We're just gonna get right into it. So this was actually, they had actually traded Randy Moss to the Raiders. The Vikings did. So this was, he wasn't there. I feel like he probably would have been there if he was there, but he wasn't there. So the incident actually occurred during the Vikings bye week. They were 1-3 during the time, so it kind of shows where, you know, this team's mind was at to be doing and to playing some shit like this while they have a losing season at the time. You would think, you know, with the departure, again, like I said, Randy Moss come out with something to prove, but I mean, they just didn't give a fuck, it seemed like. So anyway, we're gonna get into it, and the incident actually involved some of the Vikings' best players at that time. You know, that includes starting quarterback Dante Culpepper, Nate Burleson, he's on the NFL Network now. It had the Williams boys, Pat Williams, Kevin Williams, had of course Fred Smoot, and the notorious big freak, Brian McKinney. Also accused was running back Mewelde Moore. He was accused of being there, but he would deny the allegations, going on to say, sex, what are you talking about? Is that what, man, that's crazy. Sex, come on. Look, man, I'm engaged, so none of that. The thing about that put me in trouble, end quote. Sounds like to me that nigga, he was there, and you had a front row view. I ain't saying he did nothing, but nigga, he was definitely there. Wide receiver Corn Robinson was accused and was actually upset when he was mentioned. Corn actually had a past with substance abuse. He was clean at the time, and just being accused of that kind of stuff, he didn't care for it. And he would go on to deny also. Now, Fred Smoot was actually the ringleader. As they said, he was the one that, you know, got all the strippers, some would say prostitutes, on the boats. He got the liquor. Him and another player, they were shown around the two boats. They were shown, you know, the menus, the food and stuff. They were shown, you know, the liquor, what the liquor closet looked like. And basically we're just making sure, you know, that the boat was that this was the proper setting for, you know, freak fest, a fuck fest, if you might. The real action comes from the lineman, the big old freak, Brian McKinney. Now, what's about to be said is from mature audiences. That's all I'm saying. Now, it's rumored that he grabbed a naked woman and, you know, placed her on the bar and then began to, you know, with consent, obviously, eat that monkey. Now, it's said that him and along with the other players, or let's say guests, because I don't know if they're players, got, you know, some fellatio. If you don't know what that means, they got, you know, blowjobs, as, you know, as some communities will call them, from 4 other strippers. This took place in front of course, the players and all the other guests and stuff, but also in front of the staff too. So, you know, he just didn't give a damn. Authorities were actually called because, you know, and this is in 2005, but, you know, they say times change, but not really. But a white woman, a Karen, back in 2005, called to say that 7 black men had pissed on her yard after exiting a big shuttle bus limousine. And then she would later say that they were sitting at Al and Alma's. Now, Al and Alma's is the name of the charter cruise company that the Vikings players were used to to do all these freaky festivities that they did. The cleaning crew, after the party that was over, was quoted as saying that they had never done anything like this or never had a job anything like this, as far as how they said it was incredible how the boats were left. They said there were used condoms, KY jelly, handy wipes, and wrappers for sex toys. So some of them actually took some of them toys home, I guess, which is kind of crazy. One of the attorneys for the charter company said some of the sex acts that took place were, in that quote, masturbation, oral sex, anal sex, woman on woman, woman on man, toys, double penetration, Jesus Christ, middle of the floor, middle of the couches, they were just doing everything everywhere on the damn boat. They didn't leave a damn room unfucked. It was reported by somebody on behalf of the boat's staff, I guess, that not all the Vikings players were acting appropriately, and that also that no minors were found on either boats, and surprisingly no drugs were found on either boat. So, you would think they would be smoking a blunt or something, popping a pill or something, but no, they was, sober. Well, besides the liquor, of course. Owner Ziggy Wolf would later go on to comment saying, "Let me make myself clear, this type of incident would not be tolerated again." Like I said earlier, this incident actually took place during the Vikings bye week. They did have a game to play the next Sunday, and they would play it, and they would play it as you would expect one to play after the previous events. They had a game against the Chicago Bears, their NFC North rival, and yeah, they got their asses kicked. Like I said, Dante Culpepper would throw 2 picks, which would bring his interception total to 12 for the season through his first 5 games. So, damn, nigga. And the Vikings actually failed to get past the Bears' 30-yard line the whole damn game. So they were not prepared. They were probably, had their minds on another damn cruise, The Bears, Chicago Bears, actually started a rookie, Kyle Orton, and he only went on to throw for 117 yards. He did throw 2 touchdowns. And the Chicago Bears would go on to win the game 28-3. Dante Culpepper would go on to get injured in the next game versus the Panthers, trying to make a tackle on cornerback Corey Gamble, leaving the Vikings to have to rely on veteran Brad Johnson, from Tampa Bay Buccaneer fame. He won that Super Bowl, I think that was in 2001, 2002 with the Buccaneers. And he actually led them to 6 straight wins. From weeks 9 to 14, the Vikings were going to win all those games. And actually in their last 11 games, they went 8-11. So maybe it was Dante Culpepper, I don't know. But Brad Johnson came in and really got them on track and kept them in playoff contention until they were going to lose to the Ravens in week 16. Head coach Mike Tice would go on to be fired the following offseason, and the Vikings would bring in former, from my Eagles, I'm an Eagles fan. Brad Childress, he was the offensive coordinator. The Vikings would bring him on as the new head coach for the following season. So yeah, the Vikings would actually finish that season 9-7. Like I said before, they were in playoff contention until they lost to the Ravens in that week 16 of that year. Brad Johnson got them to 6 straight wins, led them to an 8-3 finish, but they just couldn't overcome their earlier season losses. They would finish second in the NFC North. They would go on to fire head coach Mike Tice and bring in Brad Childress from the Eagles. And yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end of this video. If you liked it, subscribe and go check out my first video that I just did that detailed the Paul George, Damian Lillard beef. It's Joe Cardosi. Shit, I'm going.